Welcome back to another episode of The Christian Perspective, and we once again pick up where we left off, continuing to follow this chosen story that has now been in development now for over 5 days, where the controversy started with the pride flag being on set, was in a promo video promoting season 4, was a behind the scenes thing. Actors lashed out at fans. Fans were reasonably upset over this. And of course, they were calling Dallas Jenkins out to respond on this. Dallas Jenkins spent numerous days without saying anything. And then finally, he had this sit down interview with someone. He kind of touched on the subject. And then Sunday, he went ahead and gave a full-fledged, 18-minute response to the ongoing controversy, while the entire time, and I can pretty much summarize it this way, was making excuses the entire time for it, splitting hairs as far as, we're not really a ministry, we're not a church, and so therefore we don't have to act Christ-like, we don't have corporate prayer on the set, and things like that. There was a lot of disturbing stuff that came out of this interview from Dallas Jenkins. And again, I'm just going to start off with that we need to keep him in prayer. Keep him and the chosen and those individuals all associated with the chosen in prayer. These people need it. They need the Lord in their hearts right now, because what they're currently doing, they believe they can separate themselves from the actual production of a show that portrays the life of Christ, and they don't believe they have to be Christ-like. They don't believe that they should wear their Christian identity on their sleeve while at work, and they should just allow whatever on the set. It doesn't matter if it blasphemes God or not. It's okay as long as they're not verbally assaulting someone. So they're allowed to wear whatever they want. They're allowed to say whatever they want on social media and behave however they want. And Dallas has said that he is not going to worry about any of that stuff. He's just going to focus on the work on the actual product. So there was a lot to go in there. Of course, the prostate here has been covering this story as much as we have. John Root just put out a response video after he was fired by Turning Point USA for his coverage. I'm presuming his coverage for The Chosen, but it was quite significant timing. He broke the story about The Chosen. He kept going after The Chosen as far as asking for these statements and investigating it. And then before you know it, before Sunday, it was Saturday afternoon, he was fired by Turning Point USA. I have no idea whether or not it was influenced by The Chosen or not, to Charlie Kirk and his company there to let him go. I'm sure he might cover that at some point, but as of right now, he hasn't. But he put out a response video. I've seen some other great YouTubers out there, some smaller content creators who have put out fantastic breakdowns of this. They've done a really good job. I'm just going to give you the highlights here, give you some more thoughts on this. As you know, I said last week that this was going to be the last time I talked about it. That was a big mistake. I should have never said that, because I've now talked about it about 4 more times already, and this story is not going to go away at the moment. And that's where we're at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at this story. And of course, before we do, hit that like, subscribe button. If you enjoyed the new direction of the channel, smash that join button, become a member of this channel. Help me continue to present good Christian stories, Christian perspectives of things that are happening. And I know The Chosen feels like it's taking up a lot of oxygen in the room, but it should, because it's something that, as Christians, we should be concerned about, right? I know Target and companies like that are going to be worldly because they're worldly, and they're going to present stuff that we don't like, but we should call them out. But we should hold the companies that say they're Christian or have a Christian message, we should hold them to a higher standard because they are professing Christians. We've been told in Scripture that we hold each other accountable, brothers and sisters alike. And this is just one of those simple facts. And for people who raged on different videos talking about how, hey, Frank, you're throwing stones, or this is not fair, you shouldn't be going after them, et cetera, I default. Maybe, and I've said numerous times, be in prayer for these people, be in prayer for the production, but also I put God over everything else, right? So if God has told me we need to make sure we keep each other accountable, we should keep each other accountable. And highlighting something like this will help others to keep The Chosen accountable, to continue to maybe head in a better direction than they currently are at the moment. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the story here. And of course, the cop-outs that Dallas had in this interview was saddening. Was saddening that he was making excuses, copping out, stating he was not a ministry, he wasn't a church, it wasn't a Christian production. That's what he stated in his interview or this video he put out. We're not a Christian production. I don't even know what that is, he said. Can a production be Christian? As he was trying to play all these schematic with words and things like that. And it just sounded like excuses, right? He didn't want to address the elephant in the room. He did his best to dance around that entire issue. For 18 minutes, he danced and never touched the issue of homosexuality. He never touched on the issue of it not being compatible on the set openly as it has been on the set. And I'm not saying that we should hate the dude that, I don't hate the guy. I really don't. It's not about the guy at this point. It's about what the flag represents, right? And what it states. You don't have to have another message on top of it because everyone already knows what that flag stands for. It's basically I'm spitting in your face, God, and I'm doing this production that's supposed to be highlighting you. And then Dallas ended it saying that we should be thanking people like him who are living in open sin and not apologetic at all, or even in the slightest to feel like, hey, maybe I shouldn't wear all this stuff that I'm wearing right now on this type of job, right? So let's read this story here. Sorry, going a little long. The chosen director responded to the pride flag critics. We are not a church, he said. We're not a ministry. We do not police individual social media. Well, maybe he should. Yes, they are, whether they want to or not. And I agree that they are not a church building per se. But if you're a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit living within you. We are the church as members. A building doesn't represent a church in that sense. But I understand because ever since they got picked up by Lionsgate, they're no longer primarily funded by crowdfunding. So they're for a profit thing now. And he wants to make sure his investors are happy. And I wonder how many of those investors are ESG bound, saying that, hey, you can't say X or Y and Z about homosexuality or LGBT or anything like that. So director Jenkins has responded directly to recent controversies of his show following the revelation the gay pride, pro-trans propaganda that are frequently visible on the set of his Jesus production, as well as the fact that nearly half the actors who played the apostles have come out in support of the flag on set. And you can see that on my videos. I covered that already, the actors lashing out at the fans. Jenkins shared that the cast and crew are contractors who can do or say whatever they want on their own time on social media, and they don't police their actions on set. Whether Dallas wants to admit it or not, the actors is a direct representation of the chosen while on social media and the way they behave and how they attack the fans. Maybe he should have a little bit more say into what social media they're putting out there, especially if it's attacking fans, right? Sometimes it's better to say nothing than say something at all. As long as they're not harming anyone else on set, kind of the usual rules of, everyone's just kind and respecting to each other. After explaining that he hasn't responded to controversy because he's been busy with season 4 of the show, Jenkins revealed that he was fine that one of his favorite camera members, who is an independent contractor, has a 3-inch pride flag on his own personal equipment. And that was beyond that, right? It's more than that. We've already covered it so many different times. He has a patch. He had open T-shirts. He had his husband there. There's a flag on his equipment. So, yeah, it's more than just a little patch. And it doesn't matter even if it was a patch. It's the message that it communicates. And that's the issue that everyone has had. It's not so much with the camera guy, right? I pray for him. I want him to be saved, right? But again, affirming his sin is not the way to do it. He's had it on every project that he works on. He's had it on his equipment on the project for over a year. He's been with us for a while, and it happened to show up on the corner of one of our behind-the-scenes videos for a few seconds. Again, it was intentionally left in that shot. You cannot convince me otherwise, knowing how much time it takes to go into editing and stuff like that. If you didn't want that to show up, it wouldn't have not showed up. That means they were extra comfortable with it, and they were A-okay with it. And I also made this statement that didn't seem weird that it showed up right at the beginning of June. And someone asked about it. It was the first time we've been asked about things like that, and maybe even that specifically in the past. And we violated our own rule about responding on someone else's turf, he said. We ended up giving kind of standard answer that we give when asked about cast and crew's personal beliefs, which we get asked all the time. And that was a mistake because the issue is a little bit more nuanced than just a standard, what does your cast and crew believe answer, explaining that we do not have a religious or political litmus test on who we hire, and that's fine, right? But they should understand what type of work they're doing, and there should be some type of dress code that's not very hard to institute for everyone that is not an actor on the set while filming, should be wearing something neutral. And also do not police individual social media. Again, I said they should. Also to own personal workspaces like their own gear, their own equipment, their own T-shirts. Jenkins elaborates. He says, we're not a church. We're a nonprofit. We're not a nonprofit. We're not a ministry. We're not any kind of religious, political organization. Now the content itself can be ministerial, of course, and even the term Christian production. I've heard that around. Again, I haven't been paying much attention to social media, but when my team has been obviously asking me some questions about how to respond, and I've heard the term Christian production, you shouldn't X, Y, or Z. I'm not exactly sure what that means, to be honest. Now, don't let that scare you. Can a production be Christian? The content can, of course. I mean, we're a show about Christ, so probably one of the most Christian content in history because we're all about Christ. Who's in the word Christian? So strangers on the show, people online keep saying Chosen Inc. is a ministry or a church or should be like one. That doesn't necessarily make it true. Our company standards and practices and my own personal calling and ministry in my personal life and how I run my business, it might not be the same as yours. Can that be okay? Again, he continued through his whole thing. He says, you know what you're saying? Some of you are saying, yes, it's okay. You're working with different people, faiths, but we're not okay with promoting something, their own agenda on set. And that's fair. If you disagree with that, I'm not sure how that quite relates to the content of the show or how it relates to the particular life, your particular life. If you don't work on the show with me, but we can have a difference of opinion about that, and that's perfectly fine. We don't find anyone on our cast or crew are actively pushing anything in our face or saying anything on the set that are difficult or offensive. Again, everyone knows what that pride flag stands for. Our cast and crew, the majority of them who believe the spectrum of things, including the things I just above, don't expect me to agree with them on everything. They don't expect to celebrate their thing or celebrate their cause. I love our cast and crew. I will go to war with them any day, and I will stand in the breach to defend them any day. We are a family and have always been, and I ask we take that very seriously, even though we know we disagree on some big stuff. Again, he misses the whole point. He dances around the main issue, what most people had issues with. Again, not so much the guy, the flag, the patch. He was wearing T-shirts, very, very mocking on social media. The actors lashed out at the fans. So there's a whole litany of things that was taking place. So I'm going to be interested to see how this continues to move forward. Again, I am not going to be promoting The Chosen to anybody until something changes on set with some of this stuff, that he actually addresses this stuff a little bit better. As of right now, I don't know if I'm even going to watch season 4. And you can make your own decisions. You can pray about it. You can figure it out on your own. I'm not going to tell you to boycott it. I'm not going to tell you to stop watching, but you should definitely, with all the information that have taken, we should go ahead and be able to come to a better conclusion, a better decision on how we should approach this moving forward. Anyway, that's all the updated information I currently have right now. Again, the actors, again, once they continue to stand by their words, they're not going to change their words, is what they've said in numerous different posts. They're standing with the LGBT. They have the pride flags in their tweets and everything like that. So you know where these people stand now. It's going to be hard to watch The Chosen, see little James the same way, without coming to bring that up in my head. That this dude is portraying an apostle who loved Jesus Christ, but yet he's sitting over here affirming the sin of people around him and understands what the message is about these things. And if he doesn't, he is sorely misinformed then. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Of course, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, join the members if you want to become a member of the channel. And of course, I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed day. See you guys on the next episode of Christian Perspective.